Hello and welcome back. See, I fucked it already. See? Sorry.
That's one for the blooper reel.
Gearing up, get ready. Time to break it down. Players on the radar. News from all around. Stats and skills we measure. Dreams on the rise. Predictions and analysis. Join the team with me. We're scouting reporters here. Get the inside scoop. Every week a new start. Join the scouting troop.
Hello and welcome back to yet another scouting report. We're joined by Luke from Swansea Cast. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
I suppose first open-ended question is just initial thoughts on Tuesday, tomorrow night. Obviously, your last visit to Home Park, a nice 3-1 win. I assume you're hoping for more of the same.
Yeah, I went down to that one last year. It was one of my best away day experiences, to be honest. The stadium was really good. I just want to compliment the stadium because,
Oh, thank you.
or like the sort of surrounding area as well, with all the options you had of food on the outside perimeter, that I think a lot of clubs could do a bit better, including ourselves. I think ours is shocking. So when I go to stadiums like that offer something, we even a bar outside the away end, you know what I mean? So some space to actually breathe.
Yeah.
Appreciated that. So yeah, and then the result on the pitch was obviously good. It didn't get off to the best start, but a good result in the end. So yeah, more of the same would be great. And I know we were just speaking, and Josh Key got a goal in that one. So if he can kind of turn up for this one as well, that would be great. Because I think we kind of even after last year. Josh Key scored for us in one of them, and then you had Morgan Whittaker winning the match in the opposite. So yeah, kind of tied 1-1 in terms of like getting one over on your enemy, if you like. So yeah, hopefully we can get another win.
Yeah, we've got quite a few of your ex-players, and I'm sure we'll get onto that in a minute. I've done this question sort of backwards, really. I should have asked you to start with. How's your season gone so far? You happy?
Yeah, I think we've got to be happy. I think it's frustrating, it is, but we're doing fine. Okay, we're doing fine. You can see what's going on. I was concerned earlier in the season we had a little bit too many goal scoring issues and the creativity wasn't there, and I didn't think the manager was necessarily doing enough to address it. And I think he's done enough to change certain things now to show at least it's progress and it's going in the right direction. He probably needs some more in the squad, some more bodies and opportunities to rotate to really get where he needs to go, and one or two more signings of quality. But we're sitting in 13th. I think we wanted progression from where we finished last season, so 13th is currently doing so really, or lingering in that middle of the pack. We'd literally like bang on in the middle. Um, but the performances that we are having and some of the results against teams that are pushing on at the top end, we're so close but yet so far to kind of being so much higher up the table, if you like. And that's what's frustrating. We're not doing ourselves any favours all too often with stupid goals or like going 2-0 behind against Portsmouth recently, or just not being able to score goals. We had a 9-hour stint of not scoring a goal, which I think was like 5 matches or something ridiculous. So we didn't score.
Yeah.
And we haven't lost a good game by more than one goal all season. So it just shows how a few things click into place. And I feel like we could shoot up the table, but we're probably in a fair position based on the things that aren't going our way, and not saying we're being unlucky. We're not managing 90-minute performances. That's the problem. We're probably giving 60, 70-minute performances quite often, earlier in the season, especially dominating games, not creating enough, but being the dominant team, but not doing enough in that dominant 70 minutes, where we're then in a position where either leading by one goal or drawing, and the other team comes into it for 20 minutes and manages to probably create as much as what we created in the entire game and get some form of result. And that's just our season, really. So going in the right direction, but not quite there yet.
That bodes really well for Tuesday because we are the opposite of that. We turn up for about 20 minutes right at the end, and
Well,
especially at home,
I mean,
at Home Park, and then we nick the win.
yeah,
So.
shut us out for 70 minutes. You probably give us all a ball. We'll have 80% possession up to the 70th minute. We're doing better at creating chances actually recently. We're getting more shots on target, but they're not necessarily always representing a goal. Um, but yeah, if you keep it 1-0 to us or like 0-0 or 1-0 or something to 70 minutes, it'll be game on. Definitely for
Yeah.
yourself. So
Yeah, nice. Just want to move on to obviously current head coach. The last time he came down was obviously Michael Duff. It's now Luke Williams, who has a staggering 100% loss rate to Plymouth Argyle, which I love to see. Is it a loss rate? Is that a thing? Don't think it is, but it is now. Thoughts on Luke?
Yeah, he's doing fine. Like, I've had frustrations with him. I alluded to earlier. He got brought in to do a job, which is to play a passing brand of football, quite similar to Russell Martin, who we had before Michael Duff. Basically what's happened is Martin was playing this style. Everyone loved it. Well, I say everyone loved it. Majority. It's called the Swansea way, right? We pass the ball. We like high possession, attacking football. Sometimes the attacking part isn't quite as well it needs to be. It's just high possession for the sake of it, but that's what they got to work on. But anyway, so Russell Martin was there. Duff came in, tried changing the style a bit. You probably saw him a bit in the League One before, what he did at Barnsley, perhaps.
Yeah.
The fans didn't necessarily click with that. It didn't work out for him for whatever reason, and they reverted back to what they had before. Problem was, I think they changed a lot of the players in that transition to try and go a different way. They're now trying to go back the other way. It's a bit of a costly year last season. Luke Williams was actually an assistant manager at Swansea under Russell Martin, so there's similarities there too. But he's learning. So he came from Notts County in League Two. They had just got promoted from non-league. So, big step up to the Championship when he came in. And I think that does show sometimes. But I think at the same time, if you can see the progress, you're happy to give a bit more time and be a bit more patient if you can see it's going in the right direction and you can see something building. And it does feel like that is the case. We have just been taken over as well. So kind of everything around that builds into that sort of narrative. And hopefully it could be a few years of going more up the table, whereas it's felt like a few years of going backwards before that.
Yeah. Obviously, we're potentially got our own takeover / investment / whatever you want to call it on the horizon. So hopefully we'll be climbing that table with yourselves. Obviously, that's something that we would love to be doing right now. Obviously, our home park form is brilliant, and hopefully we can continue that on Tuesday. Before we touch on the players that have represented both, just a quick transfer marked Google says that Ben Cabango is your most valuable player. Who are your key assets going into this one? Obviously, we spoke about Josh Key and Matt Grimes on your pod as well.
Yeah. Well, our defence has been pretty good, to be fair, this season. I think they've done a better job than I thought they would, and I'd probably give them credit for earlier in the season. There's been a few ropey moments lately. Ben Cabango dropped the clanger in the last game against Luton. We drew that game, probably should have won it, but we're a team, right? You go 1-0 up against us, and all you're going to do is defend for your lives, and it makes it very difficult for us to score. We managed to get a point in the end, but his mistake essentially allowed Luton to go ahead and makes our life difficult, but it was a bit of a clanger, to be fair. So hopefully he'll bounce back. But yeah, he is one of our most important players. He's in contract negotiations to not be released on a free this summer. Obviously, full Welsh international, so he gets a lot of international game time as well. And he's come from our youth academy, so he's one that's worked his way up in the team and kind of been ever present ever since he's made his way into that first team. So he's someone that knows the club, knows what we want to do and the way we play. But I wouldn't say he's necessarily our danger man. Obviously, he's a centre back.
Yeah.
If we want to look more towards the informed player at the other end of the pitch, it's probably Liam Cullen, who I believe scored 3 games in a row prior to the last game. But that's off the back of a man of the match performance for Wales as well, where he scored his first 2 goals for his country, but also assisted 2 goals and I think it was 4-0, whatever the score was. We basically won the Nations League group because of his performance in that game. So he's brought that confidence to the club, which is nice. I was hoping that would happen, and he seems to have done that. And he's on a good spell at the moment, so he's probably the one to watch in terms of goal scoring threat for us at the other end of the pitch.
Just obviously staying on Swansea for a little while longer. How are you likely to set up on Tuesday night? And can you just talk us through some of your key men in each area?
So it will definitely be a 4-3-3. With the 4-3-3, it might be a 3 midfield system or one of them a little bit further forward. Depends who you select. Okay, so Vigoro will be in goal. He's had a really good season. He's been the top signing actually from Burnley in the summer. Replaced Rushworth, which we thought was going to be quite tricky after last season. He was good goalkeeper for us, but Figueroa has probably been, I think, one of the best ones in the league this season. So he's had a good time. Back four will be Josh Key, as we mentioned earlier. He definitely, I would imagine, starts this game. Cabango, Darlin in centre back, and Josh Timon on the left. You'll have Matt Grimes will definitely start in midfield. Another former Exeter one there, and he scored actually against Luton in the last game. He'll likely be partnered with Franco, who we signed in the summer from the Portuguese Premier League. He's been a very good signing for us as well. Bit of a workhorse in the middle. He's the one that will break up play, just be difficult for the opposition, just be everywhere, intercept things. He's kind of like a little Jack Russell. He's just constantly running in the midfield and just being annoying, nipping at everyone's heels and just being where you don't want him to be. So he complements Grimes and gives him a lot of time and space to do what he then does and control the game. Up front, then you'll have Ronald on one of the wings, probably Pert Harris on the other, but Ji-sung has just come back from injury. We signed him in the summer as well, South Korean. He was starting earlier in the season till he got injured. He was out for 3 months with an injury. He picked up on international duty. So when he's fully up to speed, I would imagine he comes straight back in. Pert Harris drops out. I'm just not sure whether this game will be that game. So one of those two will be on the other wing. And then you'll have, depending on what he's going to do with our third midfield position, you'll either have Joe Allen starting there, in which case either Liam Cullen or Vipotnik will start up front, or you'll start with both of those two guys and drop Cullen back into the attacking midfielder role, depending how he wants to approach the game, I think. But going away from home, it wouldn't shock me to see Joe Allen starting to be a little bit more conservative, if you like, away from home.
Yeah, obviously we have to touch on 4 former Swansea men that I can think of. There might be a fifth, but I think it's 4 in Nathaniel Ogbeta, Matthew Sorinola, Morgan Whittaker, and Michael Obafemi. As you already know, Morgan Whittaker won't be scoring against you this time as he's out injured to the new year. But do you see any of those other 3 being a key threat to you?
Obafemi is the one that probably does worry me. He's got pace. And he's a wind-up, isn't he? He likes winding up people and opposition. As much as I don't necessarily think he'll want to get one on the fans or anything, I do think he's the sort of player that will enjoy it if he does score. And he would probably want to go out of his way to score. He didn't leave on the best terms, not necessarily, like I said, against the fans, but the way he left the club in general was a bit like he threw his toys out the pram, wanted to just go on to bigger, better things in Burnley, and it didn't work out for him there. So whether he thinks he'll have a point to prove, to say, like, he can do it, he can be better than what he thought he was at Swansea, I don't know. Don't know what on in his head, but he's the one that would worry me for scoring a goal, because he's, when a striker or someone in the forward position leaves, and it's not the best way of leaving, they always come back to haunt you. We had it with Sam Clucas for years when he went to Stoke from midfield, so he scored every time against us, and he used to let us know about it as well. Like, absolutely let us know about it. So don't know if it would be quite like that, but if he's on the pitch, I would be a little bit cautious of him.
Where is Sam Clucas now? He was somebody that I tipped for to be a real star in football. I'm sure he's at like Chesterfield or something, isn't he? Like,
I think he's just somebody that maybe he's a very basic footballer. I'll be honest. He did a decent job for us in the Premier League, right? But I don't really know why it went so sour. I really don't know why. We overpaid for him, not his fault. I think he didn't live up to that price tag. And that's, I think, what caused the relationship breaking down with the fans. I think maybe he had unnecessary pressure from his price tag. He didn't like that, couldn't manage that. And then that went back from him towards the fans, especially when he left the club. The way he left the club when we got relegated as well. For a start, it's like anyone that leaves after relegation, you think, especially when he left to a championship club as well. We got relegated, Stoke got relegated, and that's where he went. It's as if, like, you got relegated now, you don't want anything to do with us, you know what I mean? So there's one part of it. And then, I just think he thought he was perhaps better than he was. And then he thought he didn't get the respect that he should have had. He's playing at the moment for Oldham Athletic in National League. So, considering he went from us to Stoke and now he's there, We paid, I think, 15 million for him.
Yeah, that sounds
when
about
we
right.
signed him,
Yeah,
So, I mean, not cheap, like, for
yeah,
that sort of time.
yeah. And that's also a mad tangent that we've gone
Yeah.
on. Yeah, but I suppose lastly, it's just score predictions for Tuesday.
I think, look, I don't want to be disrespectful to Plymouth, but I think for us,
But
we need to target this as a win.
yeah,
I think we have to be doing that. I'm not saying there will necessarily be an easy win, but I think it wouldn't be so important if maybe the last two results went a bit better for us. We drew against Luton away, which isn't too bad. Drawing at home to Portsmouth's probably the one that is frustrating.
Mm.
And if we don't win this one, it's 3 in a row that will win, and it's against 3 clubs that are at the other end of the table. So, as much as I said we've been playing okay, we didn't win those games. So I think they need to come out and win this game, and I'm going to go with 2-1 to Swansea, I think.
Okay, I have absolutely no statistics to back this up, but that does feel very Swansea to struggle against 3 sides at the bottom, but then
Yeah, it happens all the time.
go and beat Sheffield United, Leeds, and Burnley on the bounce.
But we didn't beat them, but we lost 4-3 to Leeds and lost in a 92nd minute or something stupid.
Yeah.
We lost 1-0 to Burnley with a 90-something minute penalty that was ridiculous. So do you know what I mean? We have them performances, and then we don't go and win them games, and that is our season. Is what I was saying earlier. It's just frustrating.
Yeah, it feels exactly how we play. Like I said, we'll try and keep it low, especially at home. We'll try and keep this score low, and then the last 20 minutes we come to life. So hopefully we can do that again tomorrow night. But anyway, thanks for joining me, Luke. Can you just remind everybody where they can find your content?
Yeah, if you just type in Swanscast in YouTube, you get all of our content there. And the podcast also goes up on Spotify and all the regular podcasting platforms. Just type in Swanscast, we should come up.
Yeah, nice. And if you want to hear me ramble on about Argyle on Luke's channel, I will hopefully have linked it below if I've done my job.
It'll be up tonight, so we're on. Well, it's like 8 o'clock. It'll be up tonight. It'll be up Tuesday morning if you want to listen to it then. So
yeah, nice. Cool.
Ready
Cheers, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers, mate.